You know, what if Mrs. Immy isn't even pregnant?
I think she is pregnant. I think she killed him in a way that doesn't need it. Acolyte Faye channeled Lady Kira's spirit. She's a spirit medium who knows Lady Kira's true name. She could have done it. So it was the real Lady Kira who returned to the root of our rebels among us. She attacked and killed me with a strength far beyond any mortal woman.
I think we're gonna use this thing
True name
here.
card.
Priestess acting as Lady Kira's representative must know her name. That name is Imsan. Speaking the name is unforgivable. Lock this knowledge deep in your heart and devote yourself to prayer.
Then we have the image there. and she's right-handed.
But do you understand now? Murdered by a spirit channeling explains everything. This is the only way the accused could have defeated one rebel after another.
Indeed, I am a living, or shall I say, dead proof of her terrible power.
My ability to channel spirits comes back to haunt her. Now, is it not time to let it go and move on the fence? Let it go, let it go. No, never. I'll never give up. Now what? Think. How can I prove that Maya couldn't have channeled Lady Kira's spirit? Did Maya actually read the thing yet?
Nope. It was in her bag, though. So she sent us to get it.
It doesn't specify that Maya hadn't read it, though. If it specified that Maya hadn't read it, that would be instant proof.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we still can use it and try to say that anyway.
Hold it!
My client channeled Lady Kira? Isn't that a little far-fetched?
Far-fetched, you say? Why, the very fact that I'm here proves she has the power to channel spirits.
Ugh. We have no proof she actually channeled Lady Kira.
Oh, but I do. Hold it!
Well, it's true she may be capable of channeling Lady Kira. Don't there's any proof she's actually did.
We're talking about the information the rebel hunter here. That modern-day Lady Kira had captured many a rebel all by herself. And among them have been more than a few great warriors. Ooh, but the real Lady Kira could have accomplished such a feat. It would be difficult for a mere mortal. At least the real Lady Kira of legend is the only answer. Indeed! It is not proof enough that the Lady Kira of legend has been channeled.
Real Lady Kira of legend. That's an oxymoron if I've ever heard one. Again, the people of Khura'in believe in legends to be true.
Hold it!
Lady Kira is an actual person. Do you really believe there was ever a woman that powerful? One capable of battling rebels much bigger and stronger than herself.
There is no way to prove that. But to doubt the existence of Lady Kira is to doubt Khura'anism is itself. It is not for us to question, we must simply believe.
Ugh. I won't get anywhere until I can refute their claims with some evidence.
Hold it!
Strength far beyond any mortal woman. And just how strong would that be?
You need but look at the wound she inflicted upon my body. Though I had hoped to never have to think about that again.
Your wound? It was pretty deep and there was tremendous amount of blood.
And while Acolyte Zealot was rather small in stature, he was strong. Nevertheless, he was no match for the sheer strength of Lady Kira.
My spirit channeling is proof she's Lady Kira. This is not good. It's a proof she didn't channel the original Lady Kira. So probably here.
Objection!
Yep.
Boom. The Tome of Secrets is only given to the priestess who performs the purification rite. Is this your proof that my client could have channeled Lady Kira?
Your wife is also a member of that rite. Yes, indeed.
Well, he's also we don't know that Inmi can channel.
We don't know that you could channel, but she's also...
She's in the know. But also, isn't part of spirit channeling like you need to know their face too?
Yep.
And I don't think her true face is even in here. So that's probably the problem. Like, it doesn't matter about the name. We don't know her true face, and that's key to channeling the spirit.
For it contains the true name of Lady Kira, secretly only revealed within.
Abbott in me. I'm afraid you're mistaken. This couldn't have been used to channel Lady Kira.
What nonsense! You're right, would you care to explain?
This is why my client could have channeled Lady Kira. Right there.
Take that!
Lady Kira's face is hidden behind a mask in the Tome of Secrets. You need both a name and a face to channel a spirit.
It can't be!
Without a face, it would have been impossible for my client to channel Lady Kira.
Oh my.
Therefore, the claim that she became Lady Kira by means of spirit channel is patently false. Ugh. And with Lady Kira out of the equation, my client has no motive to commit murder.
But then... who is the rebel hunting Lady Kira we've been reading about in the paper?
Yes, who is the other suspect, if indeed there is one at all? Let us hear the defense's brilliant deduction. Think. The true identity of Lady Kira is the key to solving both murders. I thought Mrs. Emmy was suspicious, but her pregnancy takes her out of the running. So if she is out of the question... who else?
It can't be thrust in me himself, could it?
Well, no, because he has an alibi for when the first one happened, when his death happened.
Yeah, we have the guy who's currently...
And Mr. Arbol is a rebel, so that doesn't make sense. So that leaves us with...
You're right, you have that look again. The one where you know you have to say something but can't figure out what it is. I love this judge.
It's my chance to really turn up the heat. I'll just have to stir the pot until something floats to the top. Your Majesty, I know who's been posing as the rebel hunting Lady Kira.
You do? Are you sure about that?
Yes, completely.
I sense that I may regret this, but please go on and explain.
Thank you, Your Majesty. This is who's been posing as the rebel hunting Lady Kira.
So let's eliminate as we go. I'll be your guide as out.
Maya,
Maya
obviously
Fey
got
is
it.
out.
It's Emma!
Impossible. She just arrived.
I know.
Possible.
Well, no, because he has an alibi. For when,
Doesn't-
but we don't know
He
Lady
has-
Kira's the one that did that one. So, like, technically speaking, yeah, not. That doesn't prevent it.
Yeah.
It being Nayuta would be weird. Can't be Reifa. She's, like, too petite. I mean, the only other option is Puree. He could have been doing something in the rebel hideout that caused it to fall over on him, and his death was an accident. And then Thrust came, disguised everything, and then she ended up killing him. Maybe?
He was there 2 years ago, so he does fit the bill. So he's the only other option.
Take that!
True identity of the rebel hunting Lady Kira we seek is Praise-a-Lot.
What's this? The High Priest's murdered disciple was Lady Kira, yes. Peace, I say peace. The defense will continue.
Yes, Your Majesty. We'll have done the list of suspects until there was one left.
Objection!
But a process of elimination is not the same as solid evidence. I assume you have evidence to back up your claim. Yes, of course. I'll see him in a moment, that is. At least I hope so. Maya wasn't Lady Kira, and neither was Mrs. Inmi, or any of the other possibilities. That leaves a lot. I have evidence to prove it. The evidence that proves Acolyte Zealot was posing as Lady Kira is this. Oh, well, we haven't gotten to this point yet either. We haven't brought that up. Oh, the letter! Remember we were talking about he was the only one that could have put it in?
Yeah.
Like, process of elimination. Like, if we know Lady Believe is not, and we know Maya's not, it leaves one remaining person in the house that could have put it there.
Take that!
This is what proves Acolyte Zealot was Lady Kira. Lady Kira's warning letter. How absurd. What could that possibly prove? Prosecutor Sudmati. You stated that this warning letter proved my client was Lady Kira. And the reason you gave that was that the High Priest's house was locked tight. But there was a member of the family who lived there. Ah. Therefore, Acolyte Zealot could have delivered the warning letter anytime he wanted. Are you stating Lady Kira was not the culprit, but rather the victim? That's exactly what I'm saying.
But that would overturn the entire premise of the case. The trial has proceeded on the assumption Lady Kira was behind the serial killings. But if Lady Kira is the one of the victims, who was the killer and what was their motive?
There's only one suspect. The only suspect left is Mrs. Inmi. There's only one possible motive. What if Mrs. Inmi is a rebel?
What? Friend, you still bent on catching suspicion on my lovely wife?
That's not friend.
Fiend, right? Blast her! You have no evidence of this. repent for the mistrust in your soul.
Objection!
Well, you have no evidence either. After all, the dagger with my client's prints on it that wasn't what killed Acolyte Zelot. And the Plume Punisher theme he heard could have been an alarm clock. That means all evidence linking to her to the crime have been called into question.
With Lady and me a rebel, did you pose as Lady Kira to kill Acolyte Zelot? Or was Acolyte Zelot a rebel, and was the accused the Lady Kira who killed him? I would say either scenario is just as likely. What are we to do now? The alarm clock, you say? Do you mean the one in the rebel hideout?
Yes, but what of it?
So that's it.
What's gotten into him?
Evidently, just what is so comical? Forgive my outburst. That has simply tickled my funny bone.
What did?
The theme song came from the Plumed Punisher clock, you say? Huh, that alarm could have not possibly gone off.
What makes you say that? The clock was working just fine the last time I checked.
Try using that head for a change. Would not the existence of a secret hideout be given away if alarm kept going off?
Wait, you don't mean...
Indeed, we leave the alarm switched off at all times. That
Okay,
means the
so,
watchman on-
Maya didn't specify when she swapped. What if Mrs. Inme still had the strap when she did the kill, realized it went off, was like, I need to get rid of this, I need to give it to Maya, and that's why she did the swap with Maya.
But that swap happened before the purification rite.
Yeah.
Like, they were having dinner, and she already swapped the watch for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, the theme that they hear...
Well, we never actually heard what Zealot heard.
We've heard both, right? All it just said was the theme, right? Lady Kira, a.k.a. that guy, heard the theme, but wouldn't be able to distinguish whether it was, the Silver Samurai or not. He probably didn't know.
No!
In that case, I am sad to say that the defense claim does not hold water. Would you care to respond, Mr. Wright?
Oh, this can't be happening. Not now. This should put an end to the lawyer's futile struggles. The theme song the victim heard was the accused's strap, just as we suspected. Therefore, the accused is the rebel hunting Lady Kira and the victim's killer. I need an opening, something I can raise an objection to.
The Plume Punisher theme song Acolyte Zelot heard in its final moments. I too heard by way of listening device.
But did you really? If you had heard it, why didn't you testify to that fact before?
Is that not obvious? I did not know such a tune could become a key matter of dispute.
Can we get the recording in here already? They went to his house to get that recording. Can we get that already, please?
Yes, the matter of the theme song came up before Abbott Indy was channeled.
All right. Well then, what if he's lying about the clock alarm being switched off?
Miserable wretch! That would be a pointless lie, one easily disproven.
If you check the clock, you will see that the alarm is, in fact, switched off.
Come to this.
It could have been switched off after the crime. So to switch back into the off position at before we left.
I remember hearing it clearly. Those distinctive taiko drums in the intro are etched in my mind. They went.
Distinctive taiko drums in the intro?
It's gone far too long. Shall I move ahead to the verdict phase now?
By all means. And let us also return Abbott and me's spirit to the Twilight Realm.
Before I go, let me say a word to my darling wife.
Objection!
Nope.
Now hold on just 1 minute. Your Majesty,
Yes.
the High Priest's statement is inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence.
It is. Still, you writhe in defiance of your fate.
Because they don't know about the Steel Samurai, so they hear a similar tone. They're like, oh, that's his Plume Punisher.
No, his hearing's really good, but he said the wrong theme. Right? It was don't.
No, but what I'm saying is like he doesn't know about Steel Samurai.
Yeah.
It's like he would hear the Steel Samurai theme and think it's the Plume Punisher theme. That's the problem.
Yeah, but the beat he just said
That's
was
Steel Samurai
Steel
one.
Samurai theme. The very sight reminds me of a tortured soul writhing in flames.
You won't be saying that once I show you the evidence. Now all I have to do is pick the right one. This piece of evidence is inconsistent with this. Talk about the taiko drum, so it should just be this, right?
Take that!
This is what's inconsistent with his statement. My client's Plume Punisher strap.
What does that have to do with anything?
It plays the Plume Punisher theme song. And here it is. The theme to the Plume Punisher, Warrior of Neo Twilight Realm. Do you see what I mean? The music the victim heard in his final moments might not have been the Plume Punisher's theme song.
I'm afraid I'm not following you. What was it if not the Plume Punisher theme?
His final moments, Acolyte heard the Steel Samurai theme. There are no taiko drums in the intro of the Plume Punisher theme. So what Acolyte Zealot actually heard in his final moments was the theme of Steel Samurai, Warrior of New Old Tokyo.
Peace, 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 I say. Mr. Right! What is the Steel Samurai of which you speak?
Steel Samurai, Warrior of New Old Tokyo is an action hero show from America. The Plume Punisher theme is a total rip. A very similar to it. If you didn't know about the Steel Samurai, you could easily mistake the two.
But the fact that Acolyte Zealot heard music from the American Action Hero show is irrefutable evidence that the accused was at the secret hideout.
Actually, no. You have it backwards.
Backwards?
That's right. Miss Faye met an avid Plume Punisher fan here in Kurine. And as a token of their friendship, she traded a certain Steel Samurai item she had for the Plume Punisher strap.
Huh? And this avid Plume Punisher fan was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot?
Yes. And that avid fan is none other than the High Priest's wife. Believe in me.
Objection.
Do you have any evidence to back this claim, Mr. Wright? For as forgiving as the Holy Mother is, I doubt she would tolerate yet another dose of your baseless slander. I suggest you prepare yourself to face Her Holiness' wrath. Oh ho ho ho!
Well, it's in the photo. We already know.
Yep. Oh, I'm prepared to turn this entire case upside down, that is. It's my last chance. Better take a deep breath and review the evidence.
Very well, then. Please present your evidence, if you would, defense.
The evidence that proves Mrs. Emmy was the one who killed Acolyte Zealot is this.
Take that.
It's right here in this family photo. Proof that Mrs. Emmy and Miss Faye traded the items featuring their favorite characters.
Objection.
A family photo. And what exactly should we be looking at here? The proof that they exchanged items featuring their favorite characters is right here.
Take that.
Look at Mrs. Emmy's left wrist. You can see the Steel Samurai trademark top knot right there. Which clearly makes this a Steel Samurai watch.
Ah! Why, I never knew your wife had such hobbies.
The family photo was taken right before Acolyte Zealot was murdered. By that point, my client had the Punisher strap, and Mrs. Emmy had the Samurai watch. So what the victim heard in his final moments was none other than the sound of the watch Mrs. Emmy was wearing.
I wish to amend my testimony. What I thought were techno drums was something else.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's in the recording too. My wife never had such a watch. The truth, I tell you. You must believe me, Your Majesty.
Be not deceived by the defense's lawyerly chinery. Now what? It's been pretty quiet up to this point. What does he have up his sleeve? There is a big gaping hole in his flimsy claim. A big gaping hole? I don't think so. Oh no, I'm afraid there is. Alright. Just like the big gaping hole in your putrid brain. My brain is neither putrid nor full of holes. I'm not a zombie after all. Heh, says the dead lawyer walking. He who has narrow vision focuses on what is before him, never seen the big picture. Or as they say in your country, you cannot see the forest for the trees. For it is as you said, and Lady Inmi, the rebel, slew Acolyte Zealot, the rebel hunting Lady Kira. Then the rebel hunting would have been dead before the high priest was slain.
That means, there's my statement. The high priest could not have been slain by the rebel hunting Lady Kira.
Ah! How could I have missed that? So tell me, who are you going to say killed the high priest now? I think it's still her. It's still in me, probably. Now do you finally understand the sheer size of the holes that riddle your putrid brain? Ah, I'm in hot water now. Of any other suspects in High Priest's murder? You mindless zombie. You should have begun your journey into the Twilight Realm long ago. Now let it go and move on. No, I will never give up. I just need to think through and figure out who really killed the High Priest. If Acolyte Zealot had been Lady Kira, he couldn't have killed the High Priest. The question is, who? Maybe I can get to the bottom of this by reviewing the events of this case in order. What evidence tells something about the crime scene before the murder? Maya's testimony, obviously. Right. Maya said that the spring had been stained red before the rite even began. The spring had already been red before the High Priest murder because of... would be Zealot spread. Zealot was already dead.
Yeah.
Your camera's gone out of focus. That's right. Zealot had been killed in the rebel hideout the day before the rite, and his blood had flowed into the spring. Wait a second. The High Priest knew that Zealot had been killed in the hideout. So why didn't he report it to the authorities? If Maya had been the killer, he could have easily had her arrested on the spot. Why didn't the High Priest inform the authorities right then? To keep the hideout hidden, most likely.
Yep.
If he reported Zealot's murder, the authorities would find out about the hideout, and that's what he was worried about. But by going through with the rite, High Priest risked having Maya see the spring running red with blood. Why did he have to go through with the rite? Did he want to?
He wanted to kill Maya, I think.
Think so?
Oh, wait, no. He wanted to set up the scene during it.
Oh. And then he ended up getting killed.
Did he die by accident?
He wanted to set up the crime scene to conceal the hideout.
He used his own blood.
You think so?
I think he killed himself. Because he landed right in the spring.
But how does that explain the Kira outfit?
He just tossed it aside.
Well, he died instantly. Like he got the injury and then he went blank. We would have seen him. How did the outfit move down then? Unless he had his wife went and did it later.
Let's look at the options then. He
But,
emptied the spring for sure.
The other
Right.
thing we haven't explained is how did Maya pass out? We don't know why Maya passed out yet.
So you're thinking he used Maya's blood to pass? But then, why not just kill her?
Well, I don't think she doesn't have any injuries. We know that much. Like he must have been he would have had to empty the spring. So like maybe he did something to Maya to get her to pass out, and then something happened to cause his death before he could empty the spring. What do you think? Because if he was trying to conceal the crime scene, the water being red signifies something else is there. If he's trying to clean up the crime scene, he needs to get rid of that red water. sealed the source of the blood was his own. This is how he kept the rebel hideout a secret. It's all starting to fall into place. Oh, good grief. Wow. I can't believe it. The High Priest took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret. Whew. So his wife killed Zillot, and then he killed himself to cover it up.
Yeah.
Wow. The High Priest wasn't murdered by anyone. He took his own life to save the rebel hideout secret.
What?
What?
What's this? The High Priest committed suicide? I've never heard anything more absurd.
Objection.
The lawyer has placed a stain on the good priest's death with his putrid brain. Its putrid gaping holes are as large as the holes in his logic. What hole? You still fail to understand. You truly cannot see the forest for the trees. You claim the High Priest took his own life. But have you considered who brought the dagger to the Plaza of Devotion? After the High Priest was killed, the dagger was thrust into Acolyte Zealot's dead body. Only accused Maya Fey could have done that.
It is as Prosecutor Zadmati says. The claim is rather perilous in its logic. Your evidence is too weak. You cannot prove that the High Priest took his own life to conceal the rebel hideout.
They're right. The dagger was impaled in Zealot's body. His body had been placed at the plaza the previous day.
Well, Mr. Wright, would you care to respond?
Zealot's body was already in the plaza the day before the riot. But what if the dagger was also already in him at the time? The dagger was never at the inner sanctum.
Russ died by a different weapon.
The knife was never the weapon. Of course, that's it. What is it? There was no need to move the dagger. It had already been stabbed in Acolyte Zealot's body the day before the riot.
What? So that means... What does this mean?
It means the dagger wasn't the weapon that took the High Priest's life.
Objection.
But no weapon was ever found at the inner sanctum. If you will not listen to reason, then I insist you prove your assertion. Show us what you believe the real murder weapon to be. The real weapon? Got nothing. I know there had to be weapons there. Maybe if I think back to the trial thus far, I'll spot a clue I need.
Well, would the defense care to tell us what the real murder weapon is?
This is what really killed the High Priest. It's just a statue. What really killed him has been at the inner sanctum all this time. And his lethality has already been demonstrated by the late Acolyte Zealot. That's right. It was the Warbat statue. Ba-conka! Ba-conka!
You believe that the statue claimed both the victims' lives?
Would you care to chime in, Abbott and me?
Nah. No, he lies. I have no need. Why, it's wife, I think. Yep.
Lady in me. Darling, don't you think this has gone on long enough?
Philippe, no! Your Majesty, my wife knows nothing. Please, Abbot in me, let your wife speak. Now, Lady in me, please continue if you would.
It's that time again. And what time would that be? 2:30 in the afternoon. The time my husband conducts his daily prayers. And the time Pere was slain.
That sound, it's...
The Steel Samurai alarm. I too like to pray at the same time as my dear husband. So I set an alarm to remind me each day. But I had no idea it would come to this.
No, stop! She knows not what she speaks.
Your Majesty, I am the one who slew Acolyte Zealot.
Ah! Okay.
That was a weak scream.
I'm waiting for his spear to be there, floating in space. Abbot in me. Bailiff, summon a physician at once. The physician is now attending to the high priest, so there's no need to fear. Now let us continue.
What about the half of him called Maya that's still among the living? Mrs. Emmy, you will tell us everything you know. The truth is, I am a rebel just like my husband. This tragedy unfolded before the rite, during the Feast of Blessing. I'd gone to the rebel hideout to prepare it for Datz's escape. And that's when Acolyte Zealot suddenly appeared? Yes. Pere was shocked when he saw me there.
Acolyte Zealot, I did not know you were a rebel.
I do not believe he did. I believe he was there simply to investigate the hideout. And then he suddenly came face to face with Mrs. Inmee. So the true identity of the royal hunting Lady Kira was Pere Zealot? Yes. He was a member of the secret police, serving directly under the Minister of Justice. Secret police? Should she really be saying this, but she's a rebel, so it doesn't really matter? Which is good she's saying this, the people realize, the minister is screwed up. Secret police. And this is what he said to me. I can kill rebels with impunity. The Justice Minister has my back. He was using his position with the secret police to deal us rebels a heavy blow. But murder sanctioned by the crown is still murder. Screw you, Inga. Screw you. Trick up Minister Inga's sleeve was Lady Kira.
No, that can't be. My father would never.
This must be a bolt out of the blue for Rafa. This explains why Acolyte Zealot abandoned his real name. Yes. He went as far as covering up that tattoo that all Karanis clergy members receive. Lady Kira was a member of the secret police. That explains why no order was given to investigate her attacks. I guess I'm not alone in hearing this for the first time.
But, this cannot be. Peace. Now, Lady Enemy, please continue.
Pere suddenly lunged at me. That's when I pushed the stone slab toward him with all my might. But I never meant for what happened next to occur.
Allow me to take it from here. Habit in me, you sure you're alright now? I am sorry you had to see that. But you need not worry about me. I am already dead.
Please, we need to know what was so important that you would take your own life.
After I learned that my wife had accidentally slain Zeloth, I chilled his body with snow to make it seem as if he died more recently than he did. And I later moved it to the Plaza Devotion and inserted the dagger into his wound. The plaza was empty at the time, for it was before prayer time had even started. Finally, I placed his body in the prayer pose, knowing that no one would notice anything was wrong until the rite had concluded. And it is perfectly plausible that no one would disturb him if he seemed to be praying. We do treasure our prayer time, after all.
So you admit you tried to pin this crime on Maya Fey?
Yes, this was all my doing. I never told my wife of my plan, or surely she would have tried to stop me.
How did you get Miss Fey's fingerprints on the dagger?
I had her hold it when we were rehearsing the rite the day before. And right before the rite, I drugged her with a sleeping agent. Then I put Lady Kira's robes over the Warbat statue.
That means I was probably already groggy by the time the rite started.
Finally, I ended my own life. To ensure that the crime would appear to have been Acolyte Fey's own hand.
It still doesn't explain why the Kira Garp was on the ground instead of on the statue.
He did, grab it, though, right? Like, when he came up to him. So maybe he fell back and maybe the thing went poof. But
Maybe they'll explain it, but we'll see.
But when your body was discovered,
Okay, they are
Lady
explaining
Kira's
it.
robes were on the ground. How did they end up there if they were on the statue? Wind? After I impaled myself on the statue dagger like feathers, I used the last ounce of my strength to hurl my body backwards. As I did, I grabbed on the robes, taking them with me as I fell back on the ground. How terrible. What possessed you to do such a thing?
You needn't have committed suicide simply to frame the accused.
Prosecutor Sadmati, as one well-versed in our kingdom's legal system, I would expect you of all people to understand.
Understand what? This kingdom's legal system. Mrs. Emmy's crime. Your suicide. It can't be. That would be sadder than sad.
Why, I believe the defense knows what the High Priest speaks.
Yes, I finally understand. This explains why the High Priest took his own life.
DC Act.
Take that!
The Defense Culpability Act. Circumstantial evidence supports Mrs. Emmy's killing of Acolyte Zealot in self-defense. However, it would be next to impossible to prove it without a lawyer. That's why the High Priest wanted to pin the crime on Maya Fey. I failed to see what that has to do with his suicide.
Has everything to do with it. They're all lawyers.
In Kurine, the divination seance is the most important piece of trial evidence. The High Priest wanted to frame Miss Faye as a serial killer. It's a clever plan in which he made sure he'd see Lady Kira in his final moments.
The lawyer speaks true. That's why I placed Lady Kira's robes upon the Warbat statue. I made it seem that Acolyte Faye was the rebel hunting Lady Kira. But are you saying you used my divination seance to produce false evidence?
See, Rafa? Context for your seances is very important.
Forgive me, your benevolence. But it was the only way to help my lovely wife.
If you approached me first, I could have proved the murder was in self-defense.
Perhaps. But I had little faith in lawyers despite being a rebel.
How utterly foolish to cast away one's life for such a reason. There must have been other ways to cover up the crime.
Yet, had I done so, my wife would rush to my defense. And when the case went to trial, she would suffer the same fate as I under the Defense Culpability Act. I could not have lived with myself had she been convicted because of that fiendish man. This cannot be. All I have done under the laws of our kingdom, it has all been...
Poor Rafa. She's really taking this hard. But I can't say I'm surprised.
Mr. Phoenix Wright, it's time to show the might of your legal prowess. You mustn't allow another innocent soul to be charged under that despicable law.
We'll do our best, Thrust. Of course, I'll do whatever I can.
What I've done to you with Acolyte Faye is unforgivable. I can only offer my most humble of apologies. Your Majesty. Yes. I ask that you please look after my wife. You have my word.
Okay, so it seems like this. She's not. It doesn't look like she'll be punished because we've proven that it was self-defense in this instance. So
Yeah.
she shouldn't be punished, but we don't know what what Garan or Inga's gonna do here. I'm scared for what those two are gonna do now that all this has come out. They're probably gonna try to cover it up for sure. Like, nope, we have no idea what they're talking about.
Kill a lot of victims in the courtroom, that's for sure. Your benevolence, it's time I return to the Twilight Realm. The Magatama of Parting, if you please.
Make sure to put his sleeves back
Put the
on.
shirt back on real quick. Very well.
Your benevolence. Please, allow me the honor.
Yes, it would be more fitting for you to send him on his way.
Mrs. Inme. Darling, I'm so glad I was able to see you one last time. Thank you for everything.
I'm sorry to leave you like this, my love.
But now you can watch over me from the world beyond.
Yes, always and forever.
With every breath I take, my darling, I'll be thinking of you. Although she's probably going to get arrested for being a rebel.
Yep.
That's the one thing that probably will arrest her for is being a rebel. But she hasn't done anything else. I don't know like how bad it's going to be for her.
They should honestly try and excommunicate her from the country ASAP. In fear for her life, because
Hmm. Farewell, my darling thrust. So we end a case without really a breakdown scene for the culprit. Unless you really count her crying as a breakdown.
The High Priest has returned to the Twilight Realm.
Maya.
I feel great. I guess that means he didn't leave any regrets behind. Oh. What about the trial, Nick?
It's over. It was a sad reality born of love, and a great tragedy born of the Defense Culpability Act.
Well, I see no need to continue this trial. Does the prosecution have anything to say?
Mr. Phoenix Wright. I owe a debt to you, one that I will pay back in court someday. All?
Now to deliver today's verdict and overturn that of yesterday's trial. With respect to all current and previous charges against them, I hereby declare the accused Maya Fey and her defense, Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Yeah. So I was thinking, Nick, the legal system here is really stacked against the defense. It's totally unfair.
Yeah. It even forced the High Priest to make the ultimate sacrifice just to protect his wife.
It's just so sad.
Protect the status quo, or join the revolution. If the real Lady Kira were here, I wonder which side she would take. Hey, Rafa.
Sag.
Your benevolence.
Huh? What?
I was wondering, are you alright?
Quiet, you. How could I possibly be alright?
Yeah, she's not doing well at all.
Who do you think you are, suddenly appearing before me? Trampling my insights underfoot and plunging the Hall of Justice into utter chaos. You even just desecrated my mother and father's teachings, you soulless infidel.
We didn't do that. That was Mr. In Me. We didn't say a word against your parents. That was Mr. In Me. Don't hold us against that. That was him. Oof. That's a bit more extreme than usual.
What am I to do? I'd always believed that communing was with the victim's Mitama would lead me to the absolute truth. But each time you overturned my insights, it was revealed that they served to support false charges, rather than the truth. I am left now with that heavy truth in my heart.
I'm sorry, Rafa.
Perhaps I am not worthy of hearing the voices of the Mitama.
That's where you're wrong, your benevolence.
What?
Maya?
How dare you? Your role is to bring forth the voices of Mitama into our world. If you don't do it, who will? You know nothing, Maya Fey. It was spirit channeling, not a divination seance that brought the truth to light. How dare an outsider like you employ the Queen's secret art? But what can I do? My spiritual power does not even approach yours. Is it not a cruel joke, the royal priestess, bested by a lowly outsider?
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Why not? It's worth at least a laugh or two. You shouldn't talk like that. Huh? Listen, you benevolence. You were just fulfilling your duty, weren't you? And you're the only one capable of performing a divination seance, right? The station of Royal Priestess is not something to abandon lightly. The station of Royal Priestess? The people of your kingdom believe in you, but if you really mean all that you just said, then what are they supposed to believe in? Pokey girl, you're supposed to be watching us. You know not of what you speak. Actually, I kind of do. After all, I'm only here training so I can become the master of my village back home. A village master, you say? I did not know. Seems I owe you an apology. For even today, I called you a neophyte practitioner. It's alright, your benevolence. Thank you for finally acknowledging me.
Future queen and a future village master? I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, considering they may have had a common ancestor. Maya's right, your benevolence.
Barbed head!
Your insights were a crucial piece of evidence in the last trial. It doesn't matter if they weren't always 100% accurate. You should be proud of what you did. You played an important role in assuring that justice was served.
Huh.
Yeah. Besides, your insights aren't the problem here. It's your kingdom's legal system. Without lawyers, your insights have come to be accepted as the sole truth. And the Defense Culpability Act, which gave rise to that, is root of all of it. And the Defense Culpability Act, which gave rise to that, is the root of it all.
But that's a dangerous thinking as a rebel. Your benevolence. As Crown Princess, you are destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein. I wonder if I'm even up to the task. Knowing you, your benevolence, you're more than capable.
Never heard Maya talk like this before. She's really come a long way. Uh-oh. What was that? It came from the hallway. Smoke? We better go check it out. Hurry. Mrs. Inme. Mr. Wright, Acolyte Faye, I'm sorry for what transpired. You almost sentenced to death because of me. Oh, that's cool. I will make amends by picking up where my husband left off. I will see the revolution through, so nothing like this can ever happen again.
Is she getting bailed out?
For that is the depths of my love for my dearly departed husband. Did she just cause that bomb?
I think she did.
Let it in me. We gotta hurry. Uh-oh. That voice. Is that Mr. Arbol? I must tell people. They must learn that the peace that we enjoy is a false one. One built on the backs of innocent charged with false crimes under the odious DC Act. We have it in our power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. Hey there, PW. I wish I had more time to talk, but... Dirk, everything's ready. It's time to go. Dirk? Oh, he's here!
Oh! There we go.
Wait, is that the rebel leader Dirk? After him! Don't let him get away! The power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. It's the start of a legal revolution.
Hey, Nick. Hate to bother you while you're lost in thought, but I just got this great idea.
What is it?
The Steel Samurai versus the Rebel Dirk. I bet it'd make for another awesome TV show.
Maya, now is not the time for that.
We threw the Flume Punisher in there, everyone would go nutso.
I'll never get what she sees in those shows. I'm just gonna know that no matter what happens, Maya will always be Maya.
There we go.
Oh boy.